This seems super dark. Children's TV show, The Dark Secret. Let's have a look.
It's 8 a.m. sharp on a Saturday morning in 1979. Families in the Tampa Bay area turn on their television sets as thousands of sleepy children awake on their day off from school. Some flip to Nickelodeon, where a rerun of Pinwheel is playing.
What's
Some
Pinwheel?
flip to ABC, where they would catch the final episode of a short-lived TV series called Fangface.
Oh, that's like a nice cartoon.
However, that morning, others would opt for a more virtuous wake-up call, flipping the station instead to Channel 22, or the Christian Television Network, where a new show was opening the day's slate. A show called
Joy Junction, chat, that sounds
nice. The show
nice.
Joy Junction quickly found its place in the hearts of viewers, with kids immediately connecting with the quirky characters and silly games. Their Christian parents, too, found solace in the show's themes and non-offensive stories, creating a program that could be experienced together as a whole family.
That's nice.
From that day on, families all across Florida and eventually across the entire United States came
Florida
to enjoy the program,
bro.
which continued on for a run of over 20 long years.
20
until
years?
one Saturday morning at 8 a.m. sharp,
It might be a cult, yeah.
when, without explanation, the show came to an unceremonious end
Or just
and was
ended.
never broadcast again.
Chat, it might be
Today,
a cult.
the show and all official records of it have been scrubbed from the internet,
Ooh.
with the companies behind its creation and the networks that aired it acting as if it never even existed.
Oh, this
Some allegedly going as far as to destroy any remaining copies, thanks solely to the heinous events that transpired during and after its
How does
television
bro
run.
have a copy of it then,
This
chat?
is the story of Joy Junction, the children's TV show with an unimaginably dark secret.
Unimaginably dark secret is kind of crazy
We'll
to call.
return after these messages.
One of the most frustrating things to me is spam phone.
I sensed an advertisement. Yep, I knew it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Come and join us for a half hour of fun and games
Half
at
hour, that's
Joy
not bad.
Junction. Now here's Sheriff Don.
Thank you, and welcome to this fun little town of Joy Junction.
Joy Junction was both the name of the show and the name of the fictional town in which it was focused. A town where numerous characters converged to tell stories, play games, and answer
this seems
questions,
hella wholesome,
all of which
bro.
pertaining to Christianity. Each episode followed the
Teaching
same
religion
basic
in a nice,
structure. They
joyful
were 30
way.
minutes long and would tackle one general lesson taught in the Bible and tell it through an acted-out story. This was then interspersed with various games and audience participation, as the show heavily leaned on including its young fan base and immersing them in the world of Joy Junction.
So far, so
They even
good,
had
right?
a live studio audience for every
Where the Costco
episode,
guys?
comprised of kids ages 3 to 13,
Where the Costco
with the
guys?
participants and
Junk,
crowd
junk,
genuinely seeming excited to be there, which was largely due to its lovable cast of characters. The most prevalent of these was Sheriff Don, who was actually played by
Oh, chat, how much y'all betting he's like the worst person here? I can just tell. Chat, look at his face. Sheriff Don, look at his face.
creator of the show itself, Don McAllister.
And the whole gang is here, so we're going to have a good time today. Glad you
Air
could join us
date
for the next
unknown. That's
30 minutes.
He
creepy.
guided the show from segment to segment and often focused on the Bible while driving home the episode's central theme, while also being the one who most often interacted with the children who participated in the show.
Most often
Then
interacting
there
with
was
the
Forrest
children.
Hadley, a soft-spoken professor who, ironically, often had lessons taught to him due to his obvious clueless nature.
Mr. Bubble, he'll even help when you did wrong.
Well, I'm not a pope, but how about he'll even help when you're in trouble?
Hey, Sheriff Don, you're a poet too.
And of course, the fan favorite, Whittler Dan,
The fan
a caricature
favorite.
of a southern farmer known as the goofy storyteller of the group.
Okay.
Oh, hi. I'm just sitting
Why
here
does
reading
he look
Joy
young
Junction
and old at
some
the
of
same
jokes in here. Would
time?
you like me to read some more? Oh, okay. That's good, yeah. Oh, you want me to read it to you?
But of all the characters to come from Joy Junction, there was one, or two, who were by far the most popular,
Okay,
yet polarizing.
Let's see. Ron and Marty.
Played by professional ventriloquist Ronald Williams, Ron and Marty were far and away the most...
Okay, hot take. Yeah, he looks inbred, I agree. Chat, ventriloquism, that shit creepy in my opinion, low-key. Chat, ventriloquism, low-key creepy.
memorable characters for those who watched the show, and for obvious reasons too. Many children watching at home found the duo, and Marty specifically, to be off-putting, even horrifying.
Chat, you're telling me I show my oh, that's creepy.
Claiming that
You're
the dog
telling me I show my 5-year-old baby this, my 2-year-old baby is not gonna scream out like help.
gave them nightmares and was just too creepy to look at, causing many to stop watching the show altogether. But despite this, others found the duo to be hilarious and entertaining, tuning in week after week just to see them perform. For the viewers, it was a love or hate relationship with Ron and Marty. But even so, it was impossible to dismiss their impact on the show. They appear in every single episode that we have available today, and they were often tasked with teaching the children some of the series' most important lessons. Lessons like not to cuss.
It seems like I'm hearing a lot of swear words. All the kids are using swear words these days.
Fuck! These kids need to stop fucking swearing, chat. Fucking bullshit, bro. Stop fucking swearing.
And I'm afraid one of them's gonna slip out of
Stop cussing, you little bitch.
Why don't you try immediately praying and asking the Lord to take those
now he brings up the Lord. Oh, now I actually feel guilty. Hold on. Damn. Apologies, Lord. Please forgive me. It was a lot funnier in my head.
words and thoughts out of your mind. Say, that's a good idea.
Practicing self-control.
See, the thing is, chat,
Self-control.
Nick, the guy who makes these videos, he adds all these effects to make it way more creepier than it is.
Oh, well, I don't think my self-control works. It must be broken. No, Marty. I don't think anybody can practice self-control all by themselves, but if you'll just ask the Lord to help you, He will.
Defeating bad thoughts.
Hearts will cause good words and thoughts to come out of our mouths. It's almost so, Marty, as if our mouths will overflow with the thoughts and the ideas that are inside of us. You know, we need to be
Imagine
very
this
careful
ad
about
today,
what we
chat.
put in our
Nobody would
minds
watch
and
this,
our
bro.
hearts,
Nobody would
Marty.
care, chat. There's no
That's for
skibbity in
sure.
it.
And most controversially,
Ron, they were looking at some dirty pictures and they wanted me to look too. Well, Marty, what did you do?
What?
Well, I said, look, guys, I like you a lot and I want to play with you, but I can't look at those pictures. I just can't do it.
whether it was the lessons they taught or Marty's blatant uncanniness, these two characters were the most vividly remembered part of the show. And this is important as these memories are essentially all we've been left with.
We are still covered with that darkness and with that sin. And when we say He'll wash us as white as snow, that's referring to the sin that's within us.
Joy Junction is classified today mainly as lost media. No official copies of the show have ever
Zippy
been
verse.
published by its creators or the networks that owned it. It just kind of ended one day and was never talked about again by those involved with the project. And this lack of archiving stretches past just the media itself. If you were to look online for information on the show today, you would find next to nothing. There's no Wikipedia page, no actors, producers, or directors
No
mentioning it in their work
Wikipedia
history or on
page
their
is
resumes.
crazy.
There's no official website. There's essentially nothing. Not even so much as an official date in which the show started and ended, despite the fact that the show apparently ran for 20 long years.
20
We know for
years.
sure that the show aired on CTN in the 1980s, specifically in the Tampa Bay area, before it was later syndicated and broadcast across the country on channels such as TVN and Smile of a Child. But today, none of these networks mention the show having ever aired in their lineups, and none of them have ever provided an explanation as to why the show was pulled from the air. The only reason we even know anything about it is thanks to old recordings and VHS tapes captured by
So
those
is he
who
gonna
once
tell
enjoyed
us
the
what
show.
what happened,
With a few
bro?
dozen episodes and some short clips from the
Chat,
series,
now I want to
having made their
know.
way to YouTube in recent years, essentially serving as the only surviving relics of Joy Junction. Because of this, the show is largely a mystery, and information is incredibly scarce and hard to come by. But after doing some digging, I was able to find some mentions of it in old newspapers printed nearly 45 years ago that did shed a bit of light on the context surrounding its creation. The first mention of Joy Junction came in 1978 within the Evening Independent, though at this point it was not even a television show yet. Instead, advertisements were placed in the paper weekly for the Faith Community Church in Largo, Texas, that mentioned including some sort of in-person act specifically for children
Joy Junction, yeah.
called Joy Junction. It's unclear what this performance actually entailed, but coincidentally, just 1 year later, the show Joy Junction would begin filming in Largo, Florida, with these original performances likely serving as the inspiration and the basis for the show itself. Following this trail of newspapers, I also found that the show was created by a company called WCLF, which began broadcasting back in October.
That company
of
is 100%
1979,
gone,
with the
chat.
founder of the
That
company
company is
vaguely mentioning Joy
100%
Junction as an upcoming
gone or
project.
changed like
And sure
someone
enough,
else.
1 week later, that same paper included a television guide that mentioned Joy Junction showing on TV for the very first time, giving us its likely premiere date of November 10th, 1979.
79.
Aside from this, I was able to confirm that the show did in fact play all across the United States and wasn't limited to just Florida. which might be why finding an exact date on when the show ended has
Honestly,
proven
chat,
essentially
so
impossible.
old, I agree, bro.
But the most common belief across the internet is that the show lasted until somewhere around 2004, putting its lifespan at a surprising 25 years. Which makes it all the more unusual that there's hardly any mention of it online, and that there was seemingly no attempt to ever even archive it. It seemed as if the parties involved didn't just drop the show and forget about it. They completely washed their hands of it and tried their best to bury it. There are even rumors circulating that CTN themselves had all their remaining copies set on fire and destroyed so that the show would forever be
it's that
forgotten.
deep.
And
Chat, something crazy must have happened for them to literally burn the fucking tapes.
But what is surprising is the extent of the unraveling and the way in which it began, as it all started with a simple water bottle.
Water bottle? How? Raid.
It's unknown when exactly the discovery was made, just that it was a terrible one. Police arrest a man under the suspicion of distributing CP, only to find numerous images depicting it on his hard drive, with the vast majority of the victims involved being impossible to identify, except for one. Within the background of one of the images lay a hidden clue, a water bottle displaying the name of a swim and scuba school in Johnson County, Kansas City. Police did a search of the area, asking for help identifying the victim, which led them to a young child who swiftly pointed out their abuser as being a man named Michael Arnett. Michael was immediately arrested, after which the true extent of his crime would be uncovered on his home computers. They contained countless photographs and videos depicting the same disturbing material, including a great deal that was produced by Michael himself. The contents of these images are genuinely some of the most appalling I've ever heard described, though we'll get more into that later, because there is something more relevant to this video that they found on his device. It was a lengthy online chat history with a man named Ronald Brown.
And Ron, you're not one to talk. You're always on the telephone. Well, I guess you've got a point there.
The fucking doll!
Ronald's life was centered around three things: ventriloquism, Christianity, and children. His primary job was working as a traveling puppeteer with a show called Puppets Plus, working school events, birthday parties, and at local malls. He also hosted a weekly puppet show for his local congregation that he billed as being specifically for children. And of course, he had his role on Joy Junction. Every aspect of his life brought him in close proximity to children, and as it turns out, there were several undisclosed incidents that raised serious red flags about this. The first incident occurred in 1998, at a time when Joy Junction was still believed to be in circulation across TV stations. Brown was driving home late one evening when a police officer pulled him over for speeding. The officer shined his light in the car as Ronald reached for his documents, only for his light to catch something unusual stuck between the seat cushions. It was underwear. Children's underwear. Despite the alarming nature of this, Ronald would end up convincing the officer that nothing strange was going on, claiming that the old pair of briefs merely belonged to his puppet, Marty. That night, Ronald was allowed to drive away without further questioning. Though things get stranger from here. Around the time of this encounter, Ronald had been living in a home conveniently located less than a block away from a popular playground. And upon moving into this home, neighbors began to complain of Ronald's relationship with young children in the area. Every Wednesday, kids from around the block would ride their scooters and their bikes over to his house for free pizza.
To his
house!
house!
Would eventually emerge from the home, and Ronald
would
drive
to my house!
To a nearby church, where he would supposedly perform his ventriloquism. These weekly meetups were strange to say the least, especially because they were allegedly fairly secretive, with some children even sneaking off to meet the man without telling their parents. There were even other allegations that Ronald himself had hid their bikes underneath his home, almost as if he was trying to avoid any suspicion. And although I couldn't find concrete proof of this, it was rumored that when neighbors checked underneath his home, they reported not only finding these bikes, but used sex toys as well, which were stashed there for unknown reasons. There were never any sort of allegations made against Ron, legal or otherwise.
Used what, sorry? Used what? Oh, I've fucked up.
And it'll be worth 20 points.
Well, which were stashed. To find concrete proof of this, it was rumored that when neighbors checked underneath his home, they reported not only finding these bikes, but used sex toys as well, which were stashed there for unknown reasons.
Like OZX, bro. Like OZX. The thing is, like OZX, how crazy is this? Back then, those kids were probably your age. Like OZX, you at the age of 13, you would know not to fucking go, bruh. Like to some random dude's house for pizza, bro.
Against Ron, legal or otherwise, but the red flags here are glaring. Red flags that seemingly went ignored, as people bought into Ronald's act as a God-fearing, silly ventriloquist. Though in reality, the chats found on the computer of Michael Arnett shattered this perception in the most dramatic way imaginable. Though even so, these chats aren't what you would expect. No, somehow they are much, much worse.
It can't be much. Yeah, no way, bro. It can't get worse than this. Okay, so chat, this is the real chat log. Due to the graphic nature of these messages, I don't feel comfortable reading them out loud. I would have time to do it today if I only had him. Yeah. I would have been up all night enjoying him. I'm sure. Telling him all about what his last night as a boy would entail. I imagine his eyes would be just about ready to bug out. Wet with tears, so scared and helpless. Probably trembling, trying to imagine his body being... Oh, what the fuck? Ah! Oh, nah. Oh, nah, cut up and eaten. Nah. Huh? Where did this go? I thought he was just a regular nonce, but nah, chat. He's evolved. Cannibal. Oh, this shit is crazy. Yeah, I'm not reading that.
Within their
I can't read
were
that.
numerous messages between the two men, fantasizing about not only killing children, but eating them as well, with most of the messages being far too vile to discuss or even show in this video.
Oh, hell
and this
no.
wasn't just fascination, it was
Calf keeper. Chat. We all know which part he would eat first.
far too vile to discuss or even show in this video.
Jokes
And this
aside,
wasn't
though, this
just
is fucking...
fascination, it was obsession. Ronald had even found a child at his church that he frequently discussed wanting to eat, mentioning that he would be the perfect feast for Easter, describing what it would be like to end his life and to consume his body. And this went far past just talking, as Brown had taken photos of the child from afar and had actually been formulating a plan to kidnap him. He had even sent a photo of the child with black lines drawn over it to show the various spots in which Ronald wanted to butcher him. This was all supported by his friend Michael too, who himself claimed to have eaten multiple children, with a man even sending a photo of a 2-year-old girl that was seen inside of a pot, inside of an oven.
He really ate a 2-year-old girl. What am I watching, bro? What the fuck? Nah, Chad, that's literally... I'm genuinely too stunned to speak.
Who himself claimed to have eaten multiple children, with a man even sending a photo of a 2-year-old girl that was seen inside of a pot, inside of an oven. And this wasn't the end of the shocking discoveries either, as things were made even worse upon investigators searching into Ronald's username, UE Lime. In doing so, they discovered an account on a website called cutedeadguys.net, which was and is a forum for sharing images of the dead between those who fetishize corpses. And within his account,
the
Ronald
internet is
stated that
cooked.
he was one of these people too, admitting that he loved the sight of dead boys ever since he was a young man. And he wasn't lying either. Upon these revelations, Ronald's home was raided, where police would find over 200 images containing CP, which didn't even include the hundreds of others showing tied-up children, children being abused, and children that appeared to be dead. Along with this, police also found a blow-up sex doll in the home that was dressed in little boy's clothing, and inside one of his sock drawers was another hard drive with images of countless dead children, as well as a single flyer for a missing child in the area. He also had hundreds of images of a young boy named Andrew, who had attended Brown's church and youth group, with the boy having died of a brain tumor years before. Photos that showed the boy's slow physical decline, all the way until his memorial service.
You know, Don, you have to invite Jesus Christ to come into your heart and ask Him to forgive you of your sin.
Upon his arrest, Ronald Brown admitted to everything.
He did have CP on a hard drive.
He truly did want to eat the child he had been eyeing up at his church, along with many others over the years. Though after saying this, he claimed that he would never actually have carried through with it, and that Michael and him were merely role-playing. This is heavily debated to this day, as technically there isn't proof that any of these delusions spilled over to the real world. But that's only what we know of.
Chat, if he took pictures of a dead kid from his church as he was slowly dying, I'm pretty sure this guy was about to do was a fucking...
Considering the large quantity of CP in his home, the self-admitted obsession with dead little boys, and the actual plans he had to kidnap and eat a child, it seemed clear that it was only a matter of time before...
The thing is, are we not going to talk about the guy who actually did eat a kid? A 2-year-old girl? Chat, I feel like we've sort of looked over this in the video. We've just skipped over the fact that they mentioned a guy sent him a picture of a 2-year-old girl inside a pot, a fucking cooking pot in an oven. Like, are we not going to talk about it?
He finally followed through with his desires. For Ronald, there was no defense, and because of this, the judge handed down a sentence of 20 years in 2014, which would wind up becoming a life sentence, as it appears he passed away sometime in 2020, well before his scheduled release.
Oh no, chat, oh no, he passed away. Anyway.
This discovery changed the entire context surrounding Joy Junction, the wholesome TV show beloved by children all across the country, only for one of its main stars to be outed as a predator of the most disturbing caliber. But there was one last discovery made by law enforcement in Ronald's case that makes the show that much more chilling.
What discovery?
During the raid on Ronald's home, officers found a collection of journals that Ronald wrote in daily, where he obsessively discussed young boys that he had been coming into contact with, highlighting his desire to know what it was like to kill them, and to know how they taste. These journals, to my knowledge, have never been released to the public, but the thing I find most interesting about this is the date at which these journals started. 1978, meaning that this disturbing desire had been brewing inside of him for decades. And coincidentally, Joy Junction just so happened to start 1 year later, in 1979, meaning that many of the kids seen on this program were likely the very same ones that Ronald wanted to eat. Given this context, it's no wonder why all parties involved with Joy Junction cut ties with it completely. It just changes the entire feeling of the show. From the moment that one simple water bottle was identified, Joy Junction's fate...
All over a water bottle, holy shit! Chat, the fucking detective the detective who saw that water bottle and was like, that water bottle, it's a little bit sussy. I vote red. Bro.
Sealed, and so was Ronald Brown's. Still though, I'm left with many questions after reviewing this case. Was there anything more to that traffic stop in 1998, or those pizza parties with the kids? And how serious was Ronald about following through with his plans to kill C, with the answer to these questions likely being taken to the grave along with him? But what I find so fascinating about this case is that the fallout of the raid on Michael Arnett's home is still being felt to this very day. Honest devices weren't just chats from Ronald Brown. In fact, there were hundreds of other predators, with officers going on to arrest many of them, some of whom are still in the process of being tried and sentenced. And when reading into some of these...
Chat! This is 2016, updated 2016!
cases involving Michael, it's evident just how serious these people were about their dark cravings. One of these men was even recently caught having built an entire bunker equipped with torture tools in preparation for his first victim, which he planned to share with Michael. On top of all the CP distribution, these fantasies about killing children weren't just roleplay. These were very real thoughts and very real plans. But the one small bright spot of this case is that the 2-year-old girl that Michael had photographed in his oven, thankfully was found alive and well, and he too never got to carry through with...
Thank God, chat, thank the Lord, bro. Thank the Lord that that little girl wasn't actually eaten. Chat, this isn't a kink. This isn't a kink. This is something called pedophilia. And something called cannibalism. So, not really kinks.
With eating a child.
It's just called being a fucking wrong.
But his physical abuse against them was in fact very real.
Chat, my main thought right now is when he went to jail, bro. The prisoners must have had a good ass time with him, bro. Yo! Chat, imagine being a pedophile going to prison. Yeah, you're gonna get your ass beat. But imagine a pedophile who was gonna eat children goes to prison. Oh, hell nah, bro, you're done.
And as were his desires. desires that him and Ronald likely would have acted on had this entire ring never been exposed. When it was conceived, Joy Junction was meant to teach children morals, right from wrong, but ironically, many of these lessons just so happened to be taught by a man who was actively engaging in the very behaviors that were condemned by Joy Junction.
Ron, they were looking at some dirty pictures and they wanted me to look too. As your companions, you should have friends who have pure and clean thoughts and will only give you good ideas.
With his actions forever tainting the show and condemning it to a lifetime of obscurity, remembered only for the man and his puppet who brought the whole thing down.
As a matter of fact, there's something I want to share right now. Really? That's right. Don't go away, kids. Joy Junction is coming right back.
Oh, that was cooked. That was low key. That was fucking cooked. You know what? I bet Satan had a good time with him, chat. Or is having a good time with him. Ah, damn. Hey, it's clear you like this video. There's one right here as well. Why don't you watch this one too? Come on, watch it. Press it, bruh.
Yo, they still ain't pressed the
Well, that's
video.
what I'm saying. They ain't pressing it, bro.